and you're welcome to Sarah Football Extra. My name is Raphael Wanamankote, and in today's episode, we speak about Prosper Ogumneti, his second coming to Kumasi Asante Kotoko. If you haven't subscribed to the channel as yet, please do so to click on the button below. So let's delve deep and speak about Prosper Ogumneti, Kumasi Asante Kotoko's former coach. He led them to glory. He led them to winning their 24th league trophy. But a season later, he resigned from that job. There were a host of stories that sprang up within local media as to the reasons why Prosper Ogumneti resigned from such a lucrative job. But fast forward, the reasons were spelled out, the reasons came up. We all got to know the reasons why Prosper Ogumneti resigned from his lucrative job with Kumasi Asante Kotoko. I know you know some of the reasons, but let me spell out the most important details as regards to some of the reasons why Prosper Ogumneti resigned. So, after he was appointed by, that is the board of the side, led by Dr. Kwame Che, there were purported disagreements within the setup of the side, the board, the management, as well as Prosper Ogumneti. There were times where Prosper Ogumneti felt that the management and the board were not consulting him enough when it came to player transfers. There were a lot of player sales that were made, and he, as a coach of the side, was not consulted. You would ask yourself that which professional club sells players without consultation with their coach, because coach is supposed to work, or he works with some bit of player. So if you are selling player A or player B or player C, who the coach feels that he's formed a fulcrum around him, he's formed a team around him, it is only wise enough for you to prompt the coach that I want to sell player A or B or C. But that didn't happen. Then we come to the issues surrounding player selection. There were times where there were purported issues in the local media that Prosper Ogumneti was influenced, that is, he was imposed. Some players were imposed on him to select during match days. A coach of his caliber and pedigree, it will be very difficult for him to bend over and allow management or some section of the management or board to actually dictate to him which player to use. So, in specific reference to player selection, Brazilian international, that is Fabio Gama, he was the poster boy of the side 2-3 seasons ago. Everybody knew Fabio Gama. He was operating in the number 10 position for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Then Richmond Lamptey was signed from Inter Allies to Kotoko. Then he became a fan's favorite. Prosper Ogumneti preferred Richmond Lamptey in the number 10 position, the secondary striker role, to that is Fabio Gama. It didn't really augur well with some of the board and some of the management members who felt that Fabio Gama should have been that sort of role. He should have been given that role. Then again, we had issues in relation to Prosper Ogumneti also suggesting to the board and management that he wanted to let go of 17 players from the side and recruit 10 players. Then there were questions as to how prudent it was for a coach to embark on such a trajectory, letting go of 17 players and recruiting 10 players into your setup. Who actually forms a side and lets go of 17 players and recruits 10 players? There were this back and forth he had with management and board regarding this particular decision. The board actually felt that if he knew how to raise funds for the club, he could as well bring $3 million. That's how much they were looking to help the running and administration of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. That was also some of the issues that he read had within his resignation period. Around that time, Prosper Ogumneti lost his father. So, to commensurate, that is his father's death, he was expecting that some of the management and board would come to grace the occasion and support him as, the technical lead or technical head of the side. But it didn't happen. That in itself was something that he brooded over, and it was one of the factors to why he actually resigned from the side. And another factor that most people least likely speak about is his arrears. I mean, we're told that he was owed an arrears close to 4 months. That also led to his resignation. So I've given you a detailed analysis of some of the reasons that led to Prosper Ogunete resigning from the Kumasi Asante Kotoko role. Now there has been a makeshift. There has been changes to the way Kotoko is being run. The life patron of the side, Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II, dissolved the board, led by Dr. Kwame, dissolved the management, led by that is Nartey Ogum, and he has formed a 4-member committee, that is the IONC. So the IONC, that is consists of people like the Nkonto Poni, Ferry Hene, in the person of Nana Appiah Nkra, Akwesi Iwa, Kwesi Appiah. He is the former Black Stars coach. He is coming in as the technical director. Prosper Ogunete, he will be the coach of the side, as well as Emmanuel Dasibiri as the administrative manager of the side. And you know, interestingly, Otumfuo has given them 600,000 Ghana cedis to do player sales and player recruitment. I feel it's a step in the right direction for Otumfuo to have given such a hefty amount of money for them to use for player sales and player recruitment. I mean, it will go well to help the side because they need a fresh direction, they need a fresh purpose, they need a fresh line of thought. In speaking about player recruitment, it brings to mind that Kumasi Asante Kotoko have been speaking to players. I mean, off the top of my head, Bekum Chelsea Dio, Henry Ansu, he is a centre back, as well as Kalu Ouattara. He is also a striker for that is Bekum Chelsea. He impressed in the just ended Best Power Premier League. He scored 5 goals in 25 appearances for Bekum Chelsea, as well as Yaya Dawuni. These are 4 players that I'm told that Kumasi Asante Kotoko have all but wrapped up deals to get them into the setup. So we are just hopeful that when these players come, they'll be able to augment the Kumasi Asante Kotoko setup. There are a host of players that are also in line to be chased out of the side. A host of players. Dixon Afua is one of several players that Kotoko wants to cut ties with them. And some of the players that Kotoko wants to cut ties with them, let me give you. I mean, these are some of the players that Kotoko wants to cut ties with them. So, like I mentioned before, Dixon Afua is one of the players. We also have players like Abdul Rafiu Yakubu, Maxwell Ajman, Andres Apau, Mohamed Al Hassan, Safu Taylor, Samuel Boateng, Ernest Opoku, Ivan Sadomako, Clinton Opoku, Charles Owusu. These are a host of players that Kumasi Asante Kotoko wants to cut ties with them. So let's look at the second stint of Prosper Ogunete and what it means for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. I mean, on the back of Kumasi Asante Kotoko finishing 6th, they lost out to that is Mediama FC. They were unable to reclinch or defend their title from last season. But the fact of the matter is that Kotoko will not be playing in Africa, so Prosper Ogunete can have the laxity to actually play in the local league and compete on all fronts. That is the Best Power Premier League as well as the FA Cup. He has no Africa to contend with, so there will not be any sort of deficient in attention for Prosper Ogunete. The other issue is the fact that he doesn't have to contend with management or any board. He has that free will and also laxity to choose players that he feels best suits his philosophy to help Kumasi Asante Kotoko to reach greater heights as prescribed by Otumfuo Osei-Tutu. So hopefully Prosper Ogunete will be able to bring back the glory days to Kumasi Asante Kotoko. That's what the fans are yearning and churning for. Otumfuo himself is hoping and praying that the return or the second coming of Prosper Ogunete is a step in the right direction, and he Also, would hope that he has made the right choice in appointing Prosper Ogum back into the role of head coach of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. So, on this note, this is where we draw down the curtains of Kumasi Asante Kotoko's recent appointment of Prosper Ogum in a second stint with the club. If you haven't subscribed to the channel as yet, please do so to subscribe to the channel. My name is Raphael Badamankwoti. Keep hope alive with sports.